Hi, I'm Matt from Tubby. Welcome back to my channel. There is going to be some noise in the background. I'm so sorry. People below me are cleaning their garage, so there might be a bit of background noise. Nothing I can do about it. I live in an apartment now, a complex, so bear with me, please. I want to talk to you today about reading for yourself, and I want to give you 5 things not to do, or not to do, just to be aware of when you are reading tarot for yourself. Okay. I sometimes read my own cards. I don't do it often because I just have a thing about it. I don't know. I just feel it's a bit creepy reading for myself. And I know that probably doesn't make any sense because a lot of people only read for themselves. They don't read for anybody else. Um, and I fully respect that and I understand where you're coming from. But for me, I get a bit like, because I suffer from like really serious anxiety, it just kind of like gets everything to kind of bubble up. I don't know what it is, okay? But I know that there are many of you who read for yourself. So I want to give you 5 tips when reading for yourself that are on my computer, okay? Because I'm elderly and my brain is going. So I'm going to be looking down there every now and again. All right. The very first thing I want to tell you to do is when you are reading for yourself, be very, very specific. There's nothing worse than doing a Celtic cross spread for yourself, okay? Most of what you've got in that Celtic cross spread you already know, all right? So just sit there for an hour with yourself doing this massive spread. You know a lot of what's going to come out of that, okay? Whereas if you read for somebody else, you don't know their background, you don't know where they come from, you don't know their past, you don't know the present, okay? You can really only look at those and then, I want to say predict, but that's not the word. Let's use that word, predict the future, the outcome card. But with yourself, you know so much about yourself that doing a massive spread like that is probably not going to give you what you are seeking for. So when you are doing this, please be very specific. Say to the cards, guide me to my new career within the company, or guide me to show me how or what I can do to overcome this particular problem in my life. Or you could even do a what is happening tomorrow, 3 card spread, morning, noon, and night. Okay, don't do past, present, and future. It doesn't make any sense. Do morning, noon, and night, that sort of thing. So keep it very specific. That's number 1. Now, number two, and I've done a video on this before, but please don't, in fact, I'm not even asking you, I'm telling you, don't ask anything about your death. Okay? You've heard this before. So many tarot readers have told you don't do this, even if it is for yourself. Your death is something that is, I don't believe that the cards can tell you, boom, 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 you're going to die on such and such a date. But I just think that putting that energy out there, okay, is just so bad, all right? And let's face it, you don't want to know that. I promise you, you don't want to know that. It's just a no-no. And it's one of those questions that I say to any client, because a lot of people come in and they say, this is what I want. It's one of the biggest questions, okay, that people have. And I don't read that. I just say to them, I'm not doing a reading for that particular question. And I explain to them that it's just, you don't want to put that energy out there, and it's not for me or the cards to actually speak about that or tell you about that. So please, I'm asking nicely this time, do not ask the cards about your death. That's number 2. Number 3, it's a really important one, okay? Don't ever joke around, okay? Don't do funny stuff with your reading when you're doing a reading. Don't make jokes. I can't even think what you would joke about, but take the reading seriously, the same way that you would take a reading for a client, a paying client, or simply somebody else that you are reading for. You're not going to make weird jokes and funny jokes and do weird stuff with the cards and blurt this out and blurt that out. You will take it very seriously, especially if it's someone paying you for a reading. You're not going to fuck around, okay? So why are you going to fuck around with yourself, your own reading? Do not take it lightly. Read it seriously. Look at what is being shown to you. Analyze what you're seeing. Use what you're seeing. Develop those ideas and apply them to yourself. But don't joke around. All right? It's as serious reading for yourself as what it is reading for someone else. In fact, to my mind, it's probably more serious. It's probably more serious. It probably has more weight to that reading for yourself than what it would for somebody else. So don't joke around. All right. That's number 3. Okay. Sorry, I am reading here. Okay. The one thing you must do. This is very important. I think this next suggestion is very important for any reading, but especially for yourself, and that is to ground yourself. Okay, ground yourself in the moment. Ground yourself by whatever means you can, or whatever means that suits you. You could imagine yourself as a plant growing roots down into the soil. You can imagine yourself in a beautiful golden bubble of light. Remember that when you are looking at an orb of light or a bubble of light, it goes beyond the floor. It's an orb. It's not just the dome. Speaking of, the dome, okay, it goes there and then it continues there. Do you understand what I'm saying? So just imagine that in your head as a grounding technique. Always ground yourself, because I need to do a video on this. When you start using energies, universal energies, you open doorways to, I think, places, I'm going to use the word places that we don't fully understand. And I think as soon as we start using energies like using crystals, using tarot cards, as soon as we start using divination methods, we kind of open this door, a little crack, so that somebody can maybe put their eye, or something can put their eye close to the door and look in. All right. So I think grounding yourself is very important, so that you can control the energies that you create around you, and you don't have anything looking over your shoulder. All right. You have to be strong in the moment. You have to understand what you're doing. And as I said to you earlier, don't take it as a joke. Be aware that you need to be very firmly in control of the reading and of what you're doing, whether it's for you or whether it's for a client, okay? But more for yourself, because I do believe that when we are reading for ourselves, we become more invested in the reading. And so the energies start maybe opening that door slightly more than just a crack. So be careful what's looking over your shoulder, okay? If you are grounded and you surround yourself with protection, nothing can look into that space, all right? And the final thing is keep your spread simple, okay? You don't have to do if you're using Lenormand cards, you don't have to do the grand tableau for yourself, okay? In fact, that would be a little silly. But if you're using tarot cards, don't do a Celtic cross. I'll explain to you. The best thing to do for yourself, one of the best, and I know it sounds very silly and trite to some of you, but the best thing to do is use a 3-card spread. And the reason I say that is because with a 3-card spread, it can be adapted to any situation. Any situation. You can do past, present, future. You can do yes, no, maybe. You can do morning, noon, night. Do you see where I'm going with this? You can really adapt it for anything, okay? This week, next week, the following week, okay? This date, that date, that date. You can adapt this for anything that you want. Also, keeping it simple gives you more clarity. You're not bogged down by these 10 cards, all right, or 15 cards or 7 cards or whatever. So really, my final advice to you is keep it simple. So there's 5 suggestions or tips that you can use when you are reading for yourself. I'm Matt from Tubby Tarot, and I will see you next week. Hi, thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to go and like and subscribe, and check out some more of my videos in my playlists.